Hello, everybody. My name is Maverick Peck, and this is my final senior capstone pitch for CIT 457. So, one massive problem that many companies face is the managing and deployment of software and web servers, which requires hundreds and even thousands of employees, depending on the company size, to deploy these new apps that they come out with or these new web pages that they have to deploy. The most popular solution at this current moment is deploying a DevOps continuous integration, continuous deployment pipeline, which allows the integration of software development and um, software deployment to sort of meld. And in this case, we'll be using Azure DevOps as the pipeline backbone. There are a lot of benefits to deploying a DevOps environment, which include more efficient deployment, quicker deployment, better team collaboration within the software development team and the server team. It's also great for high cloud and on-premise scalability. So if there's high web traffic, you can deploy more machines on the cloud, which allows for more processing power. Your site's never slow. So what is DevOps? DevOps stands for Deployment Operations and is an agile related methodology in which it incorporates the ability of system administrators or server operation groups to work hand in hand with software development teams to create a more streamlined and efficient system. The overall goal for this kind of environment is to allow software developers to upload their finished code, test it, and deploy it in pretty much one extremely quick action. This type of methodology reduces delays, reduces deployment time, prevents miscommunication between developers and system administrators, ensures consistency in software development, and improves overall product quality. So for my solution, the tools I am going to be using includes Microsoft's Azure DevOps Service Pack, Tanzu Kubernetes for the host of my DevOps cluster, vCenter Virtual Software, which also pairs with ESXi, so I'll be using VMware related virtual tools, GitHub for a code repository, and Windows Server 2022 to run all of my to run my Azure DevOps services. So in theory, the theory of my solution is shown below. The Azure DevOps pipeline serves as the overall backbone to the entire operation, with everything connecting to it. When a pipeline is run, it pulls code from GitHub. As you can see that it's connected to GitHub, it pulls the code from GitHub, tests it and processes it on the agent server, and assuming there are no codes and it is error-free, it will deploy machines to the Kubernetes pod, which will spread the work around to all of the Kubernetes workers, which can be spread across multiple different physical servers. So what's the business use? A business that uses software or web interfaces can use this software for quicker development for in-house systems. This includes software development companies, e-commerce businesses, educational technology companies, telecommunications companies, financial institutions, anybody that uses high traffic servers that people connect to constantly, that has high traffic, then low traffic, then high traffic, they need to scale up and down. The end user is actually a fairly high level end user. It's nothing close to the customer of a business or organization because it's meant for the development of software and in-house systems, all pretty much on the back end of a company that the customer will never really know about. That being said, the different types of workers that need access to the interface can vary massively, ranging from software developers to DevOps engineers, data scientists, product managers, system administrators, security professionals, anybody that has any play into how the software is developed or deployed. So the overall cost for this project, assuming I was starting from scratch, would be about almost $1,000. But seeing as I already have the physical server and I overspec it because I use it for other things other than the DevOps project, The physical server was $800. The vCenter license was $100. The ESXi enterprise license was $80, and all of the DevOps tools were essentially free. They're all open sourced. So it's a fairly expensive project, but it's also pretty much free because I had all of this before I even thought about doing this project. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick demonstration. If I just switch over here, I am on, this is the Tanzu Kubernetes interface. So if I do kubectl, not show. See, 1 second. So if I do kubectl get pods, you can see there are no resources found whatsoever. But if I pull up my DevOps pipeline, all I have to do is click on this pipeline. I run it. I use the default agent pool to run it. And I will fast forward through this while it kind of goes through, but I'll click on this just to show you what it's doing. It's pulling the code from GitHub as we speak. You can see it's connecting. It did a GitHub checkout from my GitHub link, and it is now deploying. And that shows that it has pretty much deployed. It's already finished. I did not have to fast forward through it. But now, if I go back to my Tanzu instance, if I do Tanzu get pods, see now I have a pod there. Now, what does that actually mean, right? So if I expose a port, if I expose a port to connect to the web interface, and then I get the port number, right, the port number right there. I just deployed a web server in like, see, 12 seconds it took that job to run. It took 12 seconds. And that is because I'm able to upload my code all on GitHub, where it automatically pulls it down. This is where it says to deploy the Nginx container port 80. And then I had to manually expose the port, which will be automated eventually, but for the time being, it's just a proof of concept. So yeah, that was a 12-second deployment of a website. So my next step is to actually, sorry, 1 second. Right, there we go. The next step is actually to thoroughly document what I've done so far. I want to completely recreate my project, start from scratch, and then create a series of tutorial videos and create a website out of those videos and make that website deployable using Kubernetes. So I will have the full life cycle of deploying my website and the how I did it. So I'll have both the front end and back end completely done by me. So my next step is actually just to document everything, and then I'll have to learn more on coding Kubernetes manifest files to better deploy more complex projects. But for now, have a great summer.